Welcome back to today's Explainer. We are jumping right into things today with our title, Sacred Garments and the Priestly Calling. We're going to be digging into a really fascinating text from the Bible that shows us exactly how physical, historical items were actually designed to represent some incredibly deep spiritual truths. And right off the bat, let's look at the Bible verse we're anchoring on today. Exodus chapter 28, verse 2. Make sacred garments for your brother Aaron to give him dignity and honor. Writing the Bible verse number and its content together right at the beginning like this really helps us grasp the big picture of what it means to be set apart before we get bogged down in the details. You see, God is giving highly specific instructions here, creating items meant to convey a massive sense of weight and importance. So to outline the big picture first before we dive into the details, we'll be covering 4 main areas. 1. Set apart for God. 2. A calling with purpose. 3. Reflecting dignity and honor. And 4. Living out your calling. Let's get to it. Starting with section 1, set apart for God. To really understand this, we need to provide some historical context for the topic before diving into the specifics. What was actually happening with Aaron and the Israelites? Well, God sovereignly chooses Aaron and his sons to serve as priests, giving them incredibly detailed instructions to create beautiful, intentional garments. The main argument highlighted in the research is that these weren't just fancy, ordinary clothes. No way! They provided clear evidence that those who serve God are literally set apart for His purposes and His glory. Moving right along to section 2, a calling with purpose. Now, this part is fascinating because the source compares and contrasts 2 callings here. First, look at the historical priestly calling on the left. Aaron didn't earn this or choose the role for himself. From a perspective grounded in Reformed Calvinism theology, he was unconditionally chosen by God to represent the people. Now look at our calling on the right. Even though we aren't literally ancient priests walking around a tabernacle, we too are elected by God to live for Him and reflect His character to the world around us. The outfits look a bit different today, sure, but that core divine purpose remains exactly the same. And here's the supporting evidence for that main argument. Calling is not about status. It's entirely about responsibility and obedience. It would be so easy for us to see those beautiful garments or hear a fancy title like priest and assume it's meant to elevate a person above everyone else. But the source argues the exact opposite. Serving God is a heavy responsibility, not some platform for personal pride. Which brings us to section 3, reflecting dignity and honor. The research zeroes in on what dignity and honor actually mean when you're serving God. Essentially, the intricate beauty of these garments prove that representing God requires absolute care. It is not casual, it is immensely significant. It's a powerful reminder that just as their outward clothing reflected an inward calling back then, the way we speak, act, and carry ourselves today should be a dead giveaway to everyone around us that we belong to Him. And finally, section 4, living out your calling. So, what do we actually do with all this? The document breaks down a super practical, step-by-step process for embracing our own responsibilities. Step 1, recognize that God has a purpose for your life right where you are. You don't have to wait around for a special title. Step 2, serve faithfully in the exact roles and responsibilities He's already given you. And step 3, focus on honoring God rather than constantly seeking recognition from other people. It's basically a straightforward roadmap for daily obedience. The text also gives us a clear step-by-step process to make sure our inward calling matches our outward actions. Step 1, consciously reflect God's character every single day through simple things like kindness, integrity, and humility. Step 2, constantly remember that your actions represent Him, not just yourself. You're an ambassador. And step 3, honor God in the highly visible areas of your life, absolutely, but also in those totally unseen, hidden areas that nobody else knows about. Now, focusing on summarizing the key findings of the research, the source provides a closing prayer that perfectly encapsulates all of these major themes. It highlights a deep thankfulness for being set apart, a real burning desire to reflect God's glory, a daily commitment to walking in humility, responsibility, and obedience, and finally, a dedication to honoring God in both the visible and the hidden spaces of our lives. We can finish with this very clear conclusion of the research. If we boil everything we've talked about down to just one guiding principle, it is this: live set apart for God's glory. That is the ultimate takeaway from the sacred garments of Aaron. They were never just fabric. They were a vivid, visual testament to a life entirely surrendered to His divine purpose. To wrap up our explainer today, I want to leave you with these two provocative reflection questions directly from the text to chew on. Number one, in what ways can you better reflect God's character in your daily life? And number two, how can you live more intentionally as someone set apart for God's purpose this week? Really think about how these ancient truths from the Bible map onto your own life as you step into your calling. Thanks so much for exploring this with me today, and keep seeking out the structure in the scriptures.